Engineered by the visionaries behind the P-51 Mustang, the North American A-5 Vigilante was America's answer to the call for a supersonic nuclear bomber to dominate the skies during the Cold War. Epitomizing technological extravagance with its titanium-armored General Electric J79 turbojet engines, pioneering digital flight computer, and gold-plated engine bays, the Vigilante was a monumental gamble of raw speed and atomic devastation packed into a single 15-ton powerhouse of a warplane. Blasting off carrier decks with a thunderous 17,900 pounds of thrust per engine, this nuclear deterrence aircraft rewrote the playbook on speed and strength. Measuring a striking 76 feet nose to tail with a 53-foot wingspan, it carved through the heavens at a blistering 1,400 miles per hour. Equipped with advanced fly-by-wire controls, a bomb navigation system integrated into the pilot's heads-up display, and innovative features like adjustable engine intakes, the A-5 aimed to revolutionize Cold War aviation and show the world that thanks to America's ubiquitous carrier fleets, no target on Earth was beyond its cataclysmic reach. Yet its lavish gold plating and pioneering avionics also marked it as a potential financial sinkhole. Worse still, a radical shift in military strategy in the 60s put the Vigilante's very survival in jeopardy. Like the P-51 Mustang before it, the A-5 faced a critical crossroads. It either showed its worth or faced oblivion. The aviation world was on fire in the late 40s and early 50s, with breakthroughs and rapid advancements. North American Aviation, the brains behind the iconic P-51 Mustang and B-25 Mitchell, dove headfirst into this wave of innovation, setting their sights on engineering a new type of plane never seen before. By the early months of 1954, led by Chief of Preliminary Design Frank G. Compton, North American Aviation's engineers began brainstorming a new breed of bomber that could launch off aircraft carriers, break the sound barrier, and lug a hefty payload of nukes under any weather condition. This venture wasn't just the next chapter in the company's playbook. It was their chance to make a comeback after the flop of the North American XA-2J Super Savage. Back then, dreaming up a nuke-toting plane that could clock twice the speed of sound and still play nice with the cramped deck of an aircraft carrier was almost beyond belief. Nuclear bombers were flying fortresses that could not land on an aircraft carrier, but if the ambitious deed could be done, the U.S. could project its nuclear power across the globe like never before. Their design concept featured a dual-engine configuration, with the wings positioned high on the aircraft's fuselage, echoing the structural aesthetics of the XA-2J. However, it diverged significantly in its form factor, embracing a sleek, aerodynamically aggressive silhouette characterized by sharp angles and equipped with jet propulsion systems in place of propellers. The aircraft showcased a pioneering design, most notably through her slender nose section and cutting-edge air intake mechanisms. These intakes were lauded for their fully adjustable capabilities, marking a significant milestone in the design of supersonic bombers by optimizing airflow at various speeds and altitudes. Initially, the aircraft's stability framework proposed the inclusion of dual tail fins. However, this concept matured through iterative design enhancements into a singular, substantial, and adjustable tail fin, demonstrating a thoughtful design evolution to augment aerodynamic efficiency and control. The prototype was named the North American General Purpose Attack Weapon and quickly turned heads in the U.S. Navy. They laid down the gauntlet, insisting this bird should break Mach 2 and still launch from a carrier deck loaded to the brim, even on a day with no wind. Compton and his crew, against the odds, managed to hit those steep targets. By the summer of '55, North American Aviation got the green light to build a model. By the fall of 1956, they scored a contract to whip up 2 flying prototypes. The first one took to the blue on August 31st, 1958, straight out of Columbus, Ohio. As the development advanced smoothly, the Navy's game plan for the plane took a bit of a turn. Initially driven by the Korean War's push for low-altitude conventional sorties, the Navy started eyeing this new warplane as a replacement for the Douglas A-3 Skywarrior, with a focus on carrying a nuclear punch. So, the design team packed in a bomb bay that was nothing short of a Swiss Army knife when it came to versatility. Ready for a nuke, extra fuel, or gear for spy missions, mixing the old school with the new tech in one sleek package. The path towards mass production and combat service looked straightforward, but the situation was about to take a drastic turn. In the late 1950s and dawn of the 1960s, North American aviation caught on to the fact their brainchild could flip the script on combat flying. They rolled up their sleeves and dove into perfecting the ultimate version, the A-5B model. North American ditched the need for a zero-wind takeoff, a constraint limiting the aircraft's flexibility in various weather conditions, and incorporated a new humpback fuselage, allowing the A-5B model could carry more fuel. This modification was not merely cosmetic but functional, allowing the bomber to venture deeper into enemy territory or stay aloft longer for reconnaissance. The transformation extended to the wings, which were reimagined with larger flaps. This adjustment wasn't just a tweak, but a strategic overhaul that doubled the aircraft's range when equipped with external fuel tanks, like a bird of prey extending her wings to glide further and longer in search of her next target. Similarly, the A-5B, with her enhanced wings, could reach adversaries far beyond her previous limits. What unfolded was regarded as a miracle of engineering that shook the foundations of the combat aviation world to its core. When the Vigilante stepped onto the scene, she was not only one of the heftiest birds to grace the deck of an aircraft carrier, but hands down the most intricate. Using aluminum lithium alloy for wing skins and titanium for critical structures was also unusual for the era. Other exotic materials included a gold coating to reflect heat in key areas such as the bomb bay. The wings, vertical stabilizer, and nose radome were designed to fold to enable easier stowage onboard aircraft carriers. This powerhouse was juiced by a pair of General Electric J79 turbojets positioned far apart for better stability and performance. These engines breathed in air through specially designed inlets that featured adjustable ramps. Like a runner's nostrils, these ramps could open wider for more air when sprinting and narrow down for less air when resting, optimizing the engine's efficiency at different speeds and altitudes. The J79, a legend in its own right for powering iconic warplanes like the Convair B-58 Hustler bomber and the versatile McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II fighter, was custom-fitted into the Vigilante's core. Among these adaptations, the most intriguing was the inclusion of an air impingement starter system. This innovative mechanism deviated from conventional starting methods by directing high-pressure air at the engine's turbine blades. Like blowing on a pinwheel to make it spin, the air impingement starter worked on a similar principle, but on a much grander and more complex scale. The Vigilante's cutting-edge blueprint as a carrier-based supersonic nuclear bruiser showcased a twist in her weapon system, marked by her unique linear bomb bay between the rear fuselage engines. This clever setup let the aircraft drop her payload, usually a Mark 28 nuclear bomb, while blitzing at supersonic speeds, a feat that was nothing short of revolutionary at the time. When infiltrating into enemy territory, she could race through the sky, her sleek frame cutting a path at speeds faster than the speed of sound. Within her belly, nestled between the engines, lies the Mark 28 bomb, cradled by two disposable fuel tanks in a cylindrical bay, an arrangement known as the stores train. This design was not just about carrying a bomb, it was about integrating it with the fuel tanks in an efficient and tactical way for deployment in long-range missions. As the Vigilante approached her target, the fuel from these tanks would be consumed, lightening the load and preparing the bomb for release. Clinging to the tail end of the last fuel tank were fold-out fins, the key to keeping the bomb steady once it hit the open air. The release was as thrilling as it was exact. The spent fuel tanks and the bomb primed for delivery were shot out the back by a blasting drogue gun. This ejecting technique meant the bomb could be let loose clean and safe at breakneck speeds, keeping the plane out of harm's way while increasing the odds of a successful hit. On the drawing board, the A-5 Vigilante was a stunner, but all those trailblazing features quickly sent the budget into the stratosphere. Charging into action with Heavy Attack Squadron 3 in June 1961 at Naval Air Station Sanford, Florida, the Vigilante aimed to be the new top dog, stepping in for the Douglas A-3 Sky Warrior in the high-octane world of heavy attack, where the stakes were nuclear dominance. But the Vigilante's welcome to the fleet was a baptism by fire. Her avant-garde systems, though revolutionary, were green, leading to a slew of teething problems that tested the mettle of those who flew and maintained her. These advanced systems, while a leap forward, initially suffered from reliability issues, a reminder that pioneering technology often comes with its own set of growing pains. However, as the ground crew's expertise deepened, most of these challenges were ironed out, but it was too late. In what seemed an instant, the fate of the Vigilante was sealed. Despite her remarkable capabilities, the A-5 Vigilante hit some turbulence in the field. Her complex systems demanded extensive maintenance, complicating service and upkeep during sea deployment. The Vigilante's large size and limited range presented difficulties when operating on smaller aircraft carriers. Although innovative, the linear bomb bay proved unreliable during testing, with nuclear weapons often failing to separate cleanly from the aircraft. As strategic priorities shifted in the early 1960s, so did the A-5 Vigilante's role. The military was all in on intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, for its nuclear playbook, sidelining bombers like the Vigilante, which was gunning to be the protagonist in sea-based nuclear strikes. Despite spending vast resources making it a nuclear powerhouse, the plug was pulled on the project after just a half-year in the fleet. Shifting gears from nuclear deterrence to the cunning game of espionage and electronic warfare, the Vigilante embraced a new identity: the RA-5C. This recon wizard came loaded to the gills with high-resolution cameras and state-of-the-art electronic espionage gear, making it an intelligence-gathering powerhouse during the thick of the Vietnam War. The RA-5C variant of the Vigilante spread her wings, both literally and figuratively, with an expanded wing area and a distinctive canoe-shaped fairing slung under her belly, crammed with an arsenal of surveillance tools. Radar, infrared scanners, cameras, and cutting-edge electronic countermeasures made her a fearsome eye in the sky. Even as she morphed into a reconnaissance powerhouse, the RA-5C kept her bomb bay doors, ready to switch gears back to a weapon of war if push came to shove. Thankfully, that day never dawned, amped up with even more robust engines. This bulked-up yet blisteringly fast edition sacrificed a touch of nimbleness for a whole lot of muscle and reliability. Though her time-dominating seas was more a sprint than a marathon, the A-5 Vigilante's mark on naval flying is legendary. She played a pivotal role in driving the tech and design philosophies that would pave the runway for future fighters and spies in the sky for decades. The Vigilante became a glimpse into tomorrow, with her top-tier avionics and trailblazing stealth technology inspiring the likes of the F-117 Nighthawk and B-2 Spirit. Now, the A-5 Vigilante takes her well-earned place in museums, standing as a monument to American ingenuity and the relentless push for the upper hand during the Cold War.